Hello my colouring friends, it's me, Liv, Colouring with Liv, and in today's video I'll be colouring another page in Kerby Rosanes' Dark Fairy Tales. And this page is from Hansel and Gretel, and it's the Gingerbread / Haunted House. And this page was actually a request from my husband. He was like, I want it to be so colourful on top and really dark on the bottom. So when I was thinking colourful, I was thinking pastels, pastel colours, so why not just use soft pastels? And I have a small set of Faber mini stick soft pastels, and I'm just blending it here with a Q-tip or earbud, and I could use my finger for this, but I was a little bit worried about the natural oils in my hand, and B, I felt like if I spread it with my finger it might push away too much of that residue, and C, it also could make the residue go into the crevice of the paper a little bit more. And I made sure that I had masked up that side of the page as well, so that the residue doesn't fall into that crevice of the right hand side where the page ends. And every time you see me take the book away, it's actually me taking that over to the sink, and I'm just literally tapping off the excess away. So the last thing that you want to do is blow everything away, because I quickly learned when I first got my soft pastels, I made a few swatches in my sketchbook, and then I was like, how do I get rid of this residue? I know, let's just blow it away. No, do not do that. That's the last thing you want to do. So that will muddy the colour. So what you want to do is just tap everything away, and then you can go and get your fixative, but make sure that like you finished blending whatever you need to blend. And I also decided to erase everything before using the fixative as well. So I use the Sennelier fixative that is designed for soft pastels. When I first bought fixative, I thought, I know, I'm just gonna buy one fixative, and it was the oil pastel fixative because I needed it for oil pastels, and I also use my Polychromos pencils, which are oil based. So I thought, oh, I can just use it on everything. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe it darkens the soft pastels, but I just feel like the soft pastel one, not only does it not smell as bad, I feel like the soft pastels actually stick to the paper a little bit better. So yeah, so I did my first spray before going in and doing the gingerbread house, because I was thinking I was going to do it like all in colour pencils, but then I thought, oh, actually I can just do a quick base of beige, and I added a little bit of brown for the shadows just to make the page pop a bit. So even when I work with watercolours, I feel like I want to kind of put down that base layer the best that I can, so that includes any kind of shadows and whatnot before adding my pencils on. So you can either scrape it off with a palette knife or even just any kind of kitchen knife, or you can do as I am doing here, is I keep like rubbing the earbud on to the stick, the soft pastel stick, and just grabbing that colour like so. And I've seen other people use like eyeshadow tips, and there's like tools that look like eyeshadow things, but I haven't seen them in my local shop, so it's probably something that I would probably have to buy online. But I feel like for what I need it for, the earbuds seem to do the job. And when I was doing the sky, I made sure that I went over the lines and then went in with my mono eraser. And I'm also just going over again, just making sure I've got all those clear lines, because I don't want that to interfere with the colour. I mean, if that's the look that you're going for and you want to play with lighting and shadows, then maybe you want to keep that, but that's not what I wanted to do here. And then I noticed the little spots of the blue sky that I had forgotten about, and yeah, just going over all those little details. So before I started this page, I went over to Pinterest to kind of give me a better sense of what kind of colours that I wanted to use. And I was looking for stuff like cakes, cupcakes, cheesecake, Pop-Tart. So you can see stuff like cookies with the chocolate chip cookies and things like that. And the bit where the steps are, it kind of reminds me of like chewy toffee, and I messed it up a little bit. So I went in with my kneaded eraser and I just picked up some of that soft pastel, because I was putting a bit too many layers on there. And if I want to use my colouring pencils on top, then I want to make sure that I have enough tooth left on the paper to do so. So yeah, that's when I went in with my Polychromos pencils. So here I'm starting off with Deep Scarlet Red, and I'm just going over all those bits where I think red might be, and I'm just kind of doing like a light layer, and then I'll go in over the top of this with a slightly darker red and a slightly lighter red, just to try and give it a little bit more of a 3D effect. But it was a little bit difficult because the areas were so tiny. So yeah, I just went in for the whole peppermint sticks. Like the trees are like peppermint sticks, and it's so cute. And I was also thinking like some stuff could not just be icing, but also like with jam coming down and like layers of jam in between layers of cake. So yeah, that's what I was thinking here, like because you see like little donuts around, and then I was thinking of like jammy donuts and jam oozing out of that as well. And the thing on the left side, I felt like that was a peppermint stick, but afterwards I was thinking, is it more of like a jammy dodger type of biscuit? So I was thinking, oh, did I colour that wrong? Should it have been more of a biscuit colour rather than a peppermint stick? So yeah, I don't know, it's like, are they those colourful chewy sweets? I'm not too sure, to be honest, but I just coloured it all like peppermint sticks. So yeah, that's what I did here. And I felt like, okay, so I've done that, and then the next step was to do the donuts, and I just felt like, let's make that all colourful. And also the sprinkles, so the sprinkles, I thought they could be like the same red, so like red, blue, maybe green as well, and then the donuts can be like a pastel pink and pastel blue. And then I was even thinking of some kind of green. At first I was thinking of it to be more like a sweetie green, because there are some little like jelly bean type of things around, and you also have like those meringues as well that could be like a pistachio green, and you can have like pistachio icing. You could make your cupcakes. After doing this, I kind of paid a little bit more attention to donuts, like, oh, the icing is white, and then maybe they have like purple sprinkles of like a blueberry color. So yeah, but I was just thinking of kind of from, I don't know, like what I've seen kind of from my childhood, and I was just thinking of those colors. And yeah, so here I'm just showing you a little bit on in real time of how light that first layer that I do on the icing, and I was almost going to keep it the way it was, and then after I put it down and came back to it, I realized that that layer is too light. So yeah, I went over it with some more pink, like a lighter pink over the top. And now the page is coming alive a little bit more the more color I add to it. And I felt like there were some bits that I would color and then I would erase it again. And yeah, the problem with the mono eraser is that it does create a little bit of residue on the page. So I felt like I had to tap that off a little bit or just move it with my finger. I should have used a makeup brush as well to just remove some of that residue from the eraser, but I just forgot. So this has also been a buddy color with Z at one scribble at a time, so make sure to check out her page as well. Yeah, so we found each other on buddycolors.com, and I speak a little bit about buddy coloring in my last video if you want to check that out. And yeah, so she found me because I put on all the books that I own, and then I put that I'm open to buddy color on the dark fairy tales. So yeah, that's how she reached out to me for that one. Oh, and this bit here, yeah, this was also my husband's idea. He said, oh, this bit, make it into like a skittle path. So that's why I'm just using as many colors as I can, all those sweetie colors. And I was thinking about the river being like a chocolate river. So when I first saw this page online on Instagram, I came across coloring with Elena, and she had pink candy floss trees and peppermint stick barks, and I thought that's great, that's perfect. That's what I want to do as well, but I felt like I didn't want it to be all like grass green on the bottom. I felt like, oh, let's make the bottom bit into a chocolate river, a little bit like something from Charlie on the Chocolate Factory, or I had a book called Chocolate Island. It's probably a rip-off of Charlie on the Chocolate Factory, but yeah. And then with the icing, I've really struggled on trying to make something that is supposed to be white, but it's not going to be white. So I started off with some light blue, I think it was sky blue, and then afterwards I ended up adding some light grey as well, or it might have been a slightly darker grey but just with less pressure. And I felt like by adding, because when I was trying to look on YouTube of any helpful tutorials, I came across like people doing like stuff for watercolor, and they had used like a mixture of like a light blue and grey. So I thought, okay, let's add grey as well. So yeah, and then the more contrast I added, the better the page began to look. And I tried to darken that gingerbread at this point, but I think when you're working on something for so long, you do need to step back from it, because I was focusing so much on all those tiny details that I stopped seeing on how the gingerbread actually looked, and it needed to be darker. So I tried to darken it, but not making it too dark, because you still want to have some of that contrast. there. And speaking of light and dark, it's actually quite a thing in France, is that in the north people like their bread to be a lot lighter, and in the south they like it burnt. So yeah, and in the original version of Hansel and Gretel, it was actually like bread or dough rather than a gingerbread house. But the Grimm's brothers wanted to jazz it up a little bit and make it more appealing to children. So that's why they decided to fill it with candy. And when I was colouring it, I was starting to feel a little bit peckish, and I did devour some chocolate chip cookies after colouring this. Oh dear. Maybe I'm not as strong as other people when they colour things and that's their kind of diet option of just colouring it rather than eating it. But the more I thought about all these things, and it was also making me think, oh, maybe I'll get something with some raspberry ripple. Oh, maybe nice cornetto. The lemon and raspberry sorbet one. That's my husband's favourite one. And I'm also a little bit obsessed with dark chocolate at the moment. So I guess that's why I had to have a chocolate river in mind. And, you know, you have to kind of mention Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in here because why not? That's the more updated version of the Brothers Grimm's tale, I guess. But the Brothers Grimms were actually like studying all the folklore that were passed around by word of mouth. And there is a truth about the story, was that there was a great famine in 1315 to 1317 when like the weather had made everything freeze and there were no crops and everybody was starving. So it turned out to be like a mathematical equation. Should we have like a family of 4 starve, or we will send our children into the forest and let them fend for themselves, and then maybe have kids in the future after the famine has, passed. So that's why at first I decided to colour my Hansel and Gretel like a blue colour, and then I thought, no, that's more of a posh colour. We need to make Hansel and Gretel look poor. So that's when I erased that part and decided, okay, they need to be wearing things like brown and green, maybe orange, because those colours kind of go together. So kind of more farmer type colours, because they were poor. They weren't rich for those royal red and blue colours. So that's why I changed that here. So I felt like that was a little bit more fitting.
Living life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days. Fuck me, I'm looking in the mirror, so foggy, but I've never seen clearer. I don't really think anyone can save me, and honestly I'm not really sure I want saving. I like to be my own worst enemy. There's no risk if you don't try at anything, so I'ma just keep buying everything. See you in the next life, have to be a better me. I don't think that my head's on straight, gotta flip it and grip it and go and get an x-ray. What's wrong with me? I just feel weight pushing on my chest and it squeezes till I suffocate. Better change my mindset, meditate. It's pretty cool that I'm alive and have better days. I could walk, see, hear, I should celebrate. Think I could change my mind, maybe elevate. Living life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days. Yeah, all I need are some better days. Cause all I want, and I pray, I believe in the better days. I'm kinda stuck between between a rock and a hard place. Do I work hard or live at my pace? You're only young once, yeah that's all great, but I also want a future where I'm okay. Living life is doing lots of cocaine. Wait no, it's living with no shame. Wait no, it's sleeping in on Sundays. I guess it's different for each of us and that's okay. Well I just wanna be happy, how to get there? Glad that you asked me. I think it's different for everyone. Some of us need work, others need fun. Some of us need purpose to overcome. But try to do what you love when it's said and done, cause there's so many differences in each of us. Trust your gut, it can show you what you want. Living life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days. Yeah, all I need are some better days. Cause all I want, and I pray, I believe in the better days. Living life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days. Yeah, all I need are some better days. Cause all I want, and I pray, I believe in the better days.
but I'm so frustrated. Hello to my loneliness. I guess that ignorance is bliss. Take me back to before I knew. Rewind, take it out of cue. Innocence can be a young man's game. Signed up for the hall of shame. I wish I knew how much I miss not knowing that we're all screwed.
So now we move on to the haunted house, and I grabbed a colour that I felt like was like a dark blue, but it was actually a purplish colour, or maybe it was blue, purple, and then pink in that soft pastel box. Yeah, so those 3 colours, but the purple kind of took over the page quite a bit, and I really loved how it came out. And I just scraped everything off, blended it with the earbud, and then when it came to the house, at first I put down a light grey, and then I realised actually a good thing about soft pastels is that you can erase it, and I felt like maybe I'll go really dark with the dark grey, and then adding some black in those shadows, and then I can just erase it with the mono eraser. So I just made sure everything was blended in, tapped off the excess before going to erase those details. And that's when you get that kind of thatched effect from that wooden shack of a haunted house. So yeah, I guess the other version was maybe they went into the forest, they found some mushrooms that they shouldn't have eaten, and they were hallucinating, but in reality, maybe it was just a dilapidated house. Who knows? So yeah, this is I guess the darker version of Hansel and Gretel, the haunted house. So the more realistic version. So as finishing touches, I decided to get out my white pastel pencil by Caran, and this pastel pencil is supposed to be like the whitest of pastel pencils, and I felt like the grey colouring pencil wasn't really feeling bright enough, so I needed to add a little bit more white. So at least with the pastel you can still blend it at this point, but I was liking those streaks. I felt like you kind of needed a little bit of contrast there, so it's still adding a few details of contrast for the clouds with my colouring pencils, and I still felt like it needed a bit more contrast, so that's when I got out my white Posca pen, and this is the brush tip Posca pen. It just feels more like a paintbrush. It does feel a little bit dry, but it was still doing the job. And I was just trying to get all those highlights with where the leaves might be, and you can't really see Hansel and Gretel, so I was trying to make them stand out as well, but just popping some highlights on their arm and on their head and anywhere else where I feel like it might make the page pop a little bit more. So sometimes I also bring out my white Pitt pen by Faber as well. So I feel like the white Pitt pen isn't as opaque as the white Posca, but using them together as well works quite nicely. It spreads that white paint quite smoothly. So that's why I tend to use them together, or just because I have it in my stash. You can't go wrong with having a white pastel pencil, white Posca, white colouring pencil, white gel pen. I do use a little bit of white gel pen back on the gingerbread house right at the end, just for those icing finishing touches on the donuts. So I feel like, yeah, the haunted house is coming alive a little bit more. You also used the pink acrylic marker, so I don't have it in a Posca colour, but I do have these cheapo unbranded acrylic markers, and I just felt like that added a little bit more to the page. I also had one in purple, but I felt like the purple acrylic marker was coming out to be a little bit grey in colour, so I felt like that was a nice little finishing touch. Alright guys, I hope you have liked my colouring. Make sure to give this a like, thumbs up and a subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. For my next one, in this book I'm thinking of doing the double page in from the Little Mermaid. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do next in this book, but I think I'm going to take a little bit of a break from all these tiny details and colour something else in between before going back to Kerby. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and take care. See you in the next one. Bye. Thanks so much for watching.